Just seeing how explosive you were in the second half, can you talk a little bit about the potential this team has as you get closer and closer to a playoff spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a ton of potential. I think we're just shaping up to what we could be. I think we are building good habits, and we're finding consistency.
After the Miami game, you were talking about how you wanted to challenge yourself to get downhill and try and do those things. It felt like you were a lot more explosive tonight. Did you kind of take it upon yourself to want to maybe try and challenge that a little bit, as you mentioned the other night?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the better I'm starting to feel, the more I'm just going to try to continue to, challenge myself. It was for sure an intent to play at the rim and play downhill and play physical, because I'm thinking down the line towards playoff time and what's that environment going to be like, and that's what I need to be ready for.
How much have you, I guess, maybe talked about the playoffs, like with the younger guys, like teaching them what?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to have those conversations. It's crazy. A lot of more than a handful of guys never been to the playoffs or seen that type of basketball. So we're starting to have those conversations, and they're curious of what it's going to be like. And I thought we've had a couple of those on the road. I thought Charlotte was close, not quite, but close to a playoff environment. I thought there was a moment in Miami where it felt like a playoff environment. Obviously, nothing quite matches that intensity, but there were some moments that was kind of able to share. This is kind of what it's like.
Kelly said you kind of surprised him on the floor, like you had a shout out to the fans and all that. You talk about getting physically and mentally more healthy and all. Are you having more joy too? Like, are you finding that too?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just such a relief. It's just such a relief. Again, to be able to, I'm not just out there because I'm out there. Like I'm out there because I want to do something special and do something big, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I feel good on the court and capable of doing it. And so it is such a, like, those emotions were I feel like suppressed because of trying to just play through stuff and just feeling like a shell almost because of what I was limited. So I feel like now that hasn't been a problem, those emotions are just starting to show that I do enjoy playing this game.
Obviously, back to back tomorrow. I mean, is there any hope or maybe an expectation that maybe you'll be able to go tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, I want to see how I feel in the morning and go from there. Honestly, I 100% want to play tomorrow. I think where we're at, continue to chip away and again, just have some consistency. So absolutely, I want to play tomorrow.
You mentioned about trying to get yourself back in the form of in the rhythm of the game. When you've had the success you've had since coming back, how much does that help you, the knowing that you're on that way with the success you've had and then being able to contribute what you have been?
I'm sorry, I don't quite.
You've been able to contribute since you've been back.
Yeah.
How does that help you in terms of getting yourself back to where you want to be?
Yeah, a ton. I think now I can start to train and work out differently. For the longest, my workouts were rehab and, just feeling good enough to get on the court. And I think now I'm working out on what I can do to be better, what I can do to be more efficient. It's a lot more basketball related opposed to maintenance and rehab related. So that, I just think now it's about, trying to being a better player on the court now.
Very interesting spot, or the forward spot next to you is interesting, where Dom's been starting, Kelly's been closing. Just how does that change the dynamic for the team when it starts the game, ends the game, and just how you think, or why do you think each of those guys excel so much in both of those roles?
Yeah. I think both are great at the role, and to be honest, they can be vice versa. I think Dominique's presence on the floor is felt every second that he's on that floor, and same for Kelly. So I think they honestly, one could start or one could finish. It just so happened it's played out this way. But Kelly's a starter, obviously, and he's big time player on both ends. He can put the ball in the basket, spread the floor, and defensively he takes the challenges. I just think in that moment of closing the game out, it comes down to, I guess, offensively, what's the better option in that situation. But, I mean, again, either one could be in those roles, and I think we still thrive.
What have you made of the fan reaction since you've come back? It seemed like you were getting the fans going a couple times. The pops when you've made some big threes have been really loud. What have you made of the fan reactions?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun playing here. It is a place to thrive in. It is a place to excel in. It's fun. Again, that being able to have that emotion kind of come out, and I'm in the trenches here. I'm entrenched. I'm all about closing this out and going strong and finishing it strong here in Philly. So I think it's just an infectious crowd and environment, and again, those emotions are just starting to come back out.
Paul,
We got time for two. This morning, you were going through something with VJ, and you were teaching him, different moves on offense. I guess, how quickly has he taken to some of the work you've taught him, and I mean, what are you seeing as he develops on offense?
Yeah, he's starting to grasp a lot of the stuff that I've been trying to teach him, and it's not that he's not doing anything or his way is wrong, or I'm just trying to give him options. And obviously I won't be playing this game that much longer. So if there's anything that I could kind of give back, I'm here for it. But he's starting to grasp it. He's starting to get it. I think with me and him, it's just helping him understand how he can play at a different pace and tempo and control the game, and turn his jets on and be explosive in spurts instead of being explosive at all times. I think he can really catch defenses off guard with, kind of playing around with his cadence and all of that stuff. So that's more so what it is. Just trying to give him, different options to just add to his tool belt.
Do you find really a coachable?
Last one.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's always coming to me. Like, there'll be a situation in a game and we'll talk about it the next day, and he'll come to me and he'll be like, hey, I did this. Was this good? Was that, like, how could I do this? How could I have done that better? And he picks up quick. So it's been fun. It's been a youthful thing for me to kind of, be the older guy teaching. So it's been fun. And I think through that, our relationship has gotten, that's like, my little brother. So, it's definitely a special bond we have.
Chest and above, guys. I mean, not chest, neck.
Okay. What changed in the third quarter for you guys to get some rhythm?
We just had to get going, man. The game was kind of funky, both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? We played good defense the entire first half, so we just came out in the third quarter trying to be extremely aggressive, myself included.
How much did Andre give you guys a big lift off the bench?
He was great. He's been really good. The past week or so. That I've been back as well, so I've just been giving him his flowers, telling him that he's been great.
Yeah, he was obviously big in Charlotte. To give you guys a big lift tonight, and his role's kind of been up and down, but he's always a professional. What's that kind of say about him?
Professionalism, man. He's done a great job with that. Bonus played really well for us, and process play. Sometimes he doesn't play, so sometimes he goes from starting to not playing, and starting to not playing, and he's done a really good job. Helped us win a lot of games.
A lot of people talk about, obviously Paul's offense has been great since he came back, but his defense in particular, kind of as almost like the quarterback of the defense for you guys. What does that look like on like a day-to-day basis or in the middle of a game as far as how he's sort of directing and making sure everyone is on
Yeah, he
the
does a
right
lot of
page?
talking, does a lot of communicating, does a lot of like directing, and we appreciate him for that. He's the oldest in that lineup, I think, right? And he's the oldest in the lineup, so he's basically like our vet.
What'd you see, Joe, slow start from the floor, maybe what flipped for him in that second half?
Yeah, slow start shooting wise, but his defense is really good. He protected the rim, he got rebounds. That's what he does. Like sometimes when his shot's not falling, he's definitely gonna do something else. And then he picked it up.
What do you feel like was the biggest key to the defensive performance you guys had tonight?
Communication, attention to detail, getting guys away from their tendencies. We did a really good job of that.
Did you guys have to, kind of adjust to the physicality a little bit in the first half, or was
I
it?
wouldn't say adjust to it. It was just like, I guess that's a good word because every game is officiated different, and that's okay. But you gotta get used to it. Sometimes there's certain fouls they call, sometimes they don't call them, and that's fine. You gotta get used to it and play adjust to the game.
Offensively, it seems like Paul, since he got back, has gotten downhill a lot more often.
Yeah.
What does that open up for your offense when he's consistently getting by people off the dribble?
It opens up a lot. It opens up a lot for him as well because a lot of times they don't really want to help off guys like me and Joel, so he has a lot of space. And for him to be able to get down and get into the paint just opens up his shot too. You know what I mean? He just creates another dynamic that we haven't had, and it feels really good. It's good to watch.
On a day like today where the shots aren't falling, it seemed like you and Q especially really got to the rim a lot more. What kind of goes into that? Is that taking what they give you, knowing what's working?
Yeah, for sure. I think I got up like 2 or 3 threes today. They kind of like ball pressure. They try to ball pressure us, and I don't really think a lot of guys can just ball pressure me without staying in front of me. So if that's the case, sometimes I just get downhill and make plays for myself and others.
I know that you were asked about the 65-game rule the day before you came back, but now that you are back and you've officially crossed that threshold today, was that in the back of your mind at all during your time away that just, I might not reach this depending on just how my heel or whatnot?
No, not really, because I was coming back regardless. And it wasn't just because 65 games, because I wanted to get it. I wanted to make the playoffs. I wanted to help my team do that. And that's just what it is.
Lately, it's been Dom starting, Kelly kind of closing games. I guess what has allowed that to kind of that formula to kind of have success?
Yeah, Kelly's been really good. He comes in and he plays his role. He does a good job defensively, does a good job on the offense end, scoring and making plays. Dom has been really good when he starts. He does like all the little things, defensive things that we need, rebounds, gives us extra possessions, and we're going to need him to do that.
What do you think makes him so good, dominant, playing next to Embiid?
Yeah.
Everyone can do that.
He can cut. He's a really good cutter. He's smart, man. He has a really high IQ. That's something I didn't know about until he came on this team. And he's just like, he does a good job of like navigating. Like sometimes when they like offer him, he can trash and get rebounds, and he can flash, he can make plays, he can score the ball.
Kelly's buckets at the end kind of clinched the game for you guys, or maybe sealed the deal. Just the and one, the 2 threes he got. Just maybe what did you kind of see on the floor that sort of allowed him to get those buckets?
Yeah, his space, man. Like his space. Like when Paul plays the way he plays, and me and Joe, there's gonna be a lot of space out there. And he did a good job of getting downhill, and then he took advantage of 2 wide open threes, and he nailed them.
Felt like earlier in the season when you guys were close to full strength, Q and Kelly, it was harder for them to sort of be involved in the flow of the game as consistently. Recently, it feels like they're more involved. I guess what has allowed them to be more successful when you and Joel and Paul and even VJ have the ball so often?
I think the biggest thing is they kind of know how to play off guys. Now, it was hard, man. We haven't played a lot. We haven't practiced early this year and last year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we learned on the fly. Everybody was kind of learning on the fly. And then like now, we all know one thing. We all got one goal in mind, just to win. We don't care how we do it, which way, who scored the most points, who don't score. None of that matters. As long as we have more points than the other team at the end of the game, that's all that matters.
Nick mentioned that he's not quite sure why you seem to be noticed on the court more when you play next to Joel. What do you think it is about playing next to Joel that maybe brings out some things about your game and kind of has that effect on you?
I mean, he knows when to pass. I mean, he's basically been getting doubled since he's been in the NBA. So trying to just play off that. I'm athletic, so trying to throw it somewhere, anywhere around the rim, and try to go get it. But yeah, just really reading, his movements when he likes to get into his shots and just playing off that.
Is that something that takes time? Is that something that's taken time for
Oh
you to
yeah,
learn?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I played with Wemby a little bit my first year. Obviously, he was a rookie, but they did similar things. Big saw a lot of doubles like that too. So I was kind of learning, how to time those cuts there. Obviously with Joe, playing the way he playing, just even a lot easier.
Tyrese the other night was talking about how you're just a star in your role, and just like how you're able to continue to just make an impact even when maybe you're not getting a bunch of rebounds or points, whatever. I guess what allows you to make such an impact as you and
I just play hard, try to play as smart as possible, not make mistakes, contribute to winning. At the end of the day, the box score is never going to tell the whole story of the game. There's a bunch of guys in the league that average between 25 and 30, but we all rank players at a certain spot because of the other stuff. And, the box score doesn't always matter in that aspect. I'm just trying to find ways that I can help a team win. That's chasing a guard around, boxing out, making sure my man don't get the board, making the right cut, running the floor so they have more open lanes, all that stuff.
What were the points of emphasis for you guarding Randall?
Physicality. He's big, strong, skilled forward. Just try to meet him early, not let him get, such a full head of steam, force contested mid-range twos. I think that even with most stars in the league, that's kind of the shot that you'd be kind of willing to give up. Obviously, there are exceptions, but I thought just put him in areas where he's not as comfortable.
What sort of flip is the team for you guys at the start of the third quarter?
Flip, I thought we were solid in the third tonight. Obviously, that's been a emphasis this year for sure. Just trying to get better at that, and I think we're getting out earlier on the court, and just getting ready for the team coming out. And I thought we were prepared, and they went on like a tiny run to start the third, but we responded really quickly and were able to kind of pull away with the lead there.
Nick has said many times this year that your guy just doesn't make a lot of mistakes out there. I guess, has that always been kind of you, or is that something that as time has gone on, that's been more kind of like a staple?
Yeah, I've tried to be that most of my career. Obviously, when I'm a rookie and I'm inexperienced, I'm going to make mistakes. But as I've kind of been in different situations and played more games, I think it is an emphasis on not making mistakes. We have such a talented group, and the better I can be for them doing all that other stuff so they can, score the ball and make our offense what it is. That's what I'm going to try to do. So, if I get one, I think every single game I've probably had at least one where I've either missed an assignment or missed something, but I try to minimize that.
Until basically right now, there's been so few games where you, Kelly, and Paul have all been available at the same time, and that's
Man, go back in that dirty ass water.
But he's still maybe tinkering with stuff, and things are still in flux. Just, do you guys take pride in that you're not putting pressure on him, but that it's a good problem to have that any of you three can start, can close, can play at any point in time?
Yeah. I celebrate those guys just as much, if not more, than anybody on this team because I want them to succeed. I know how hard they work. Pete coming back, he's been unbelievable, and KO's dealt with injuries here, and but I think he's had an amazing year for us. So I will always, no matter what it ends up looking like, whether I'm closing the game or not, starting the game or not, I will always celebrate those two for kind of them taking me under their wing, and we all kind of do similar stuff defensively. We draw a lot of the same assignments, so they have taught me and helped me throughout the whole year. So I will always have a lot of love for those two.